Welcome to my channel Echoes of Coin.
The 1-cent coin of 1809 belongs to the classic head large cent series, which was struck from 1808 until 1804. This series followed the draped bust design and was an important part of early United States coinage. The 1809 issue is the second year of the classic head type, designed by John Reich, who introduced a more refined portrait style for American coins of the early 19th century. The obverse features the bust of Lady Liberty facing left. She is depicted with long flowing hair tied with a ribbon and wearing a simple headband inscribed with the word Liberty. Surrounding her image are 13 stars, representing the original 13 colonies of the United States. At the bottom is the date 1809, clearly marking the year of issue. This design was admired for its more classical, European-inspired artistic style compared to earlier cent designs, which appeared less refined. The reverse of the coin displays the denomination. At the center is a large inscription of 1 cent, encircled by a laurel wreath tied with a ribbon at the bottom. Around the wreath is the inscription, United States of America. The simplicity and symmetry of this design reflect the neoclassical style that influenced early American coinage. The 1899 cent was struck in pure copper with a diameter of about 29 millimeters and a weight of 10.89 grams. Unlike modern pennies, which are small and light, the early large cents were heavy, wide coins meant to reflect tangible value in copper. Over time, these coins often develop dark brown or chocolate-colored surfaces due to oxidation. Original red examples are extremely rare and highly sought after by collectors. In terms of production, the Philadelphia Mint, which was the only mint in operation at the time, struck approximately 222,867 1-cent coins in 1809. This was a modest mintage compared to later issues, making the coin scarce today, especially in well-preserved condition. Because these coins circulated heavily in the early 19th century, most surviving examples are found in worn grades. High-grade coins with sharp details are rare and command significant premiums. Collectors classify the 1809 cent as part of the classic head type, a short-lived series that only lasted a few years due to difficulties with the copper planchets. The copper used during this period was often impure, leading to coins that corroded or wore down more quickly than earlier and later issues. As a result, truly well-preserved classic head cents are among the most challenging coins in the entire large cent series. Varieties and errors also exist for the 1809 cent. Collectors study small differences in die alignment, star placement, and lettering, which can identify distinct die varieties. Since dies were hand-prepared during this time, every coinage year produced multiple collectible varieties. For specialists, these details add even greater depth to the study and collecting of early U.S. cents. From a historical perspective, the 1809 cent reflects the young American nation. Just a few decades after independence, these coins circulated widely in everyday commerce, buying small goods and services at a time when cents held significant purchasing power. The large copper cent symbolized stability and trust in the new nation's currency. In summary, the 1809 1-cent coin is an important piece of early American numismatic history. With its classic head design, modest mintage, and challenging survival rate in high grade, it is a prized collectible for enthusiasts of early U.S. coinage. While common in well-worn condition, well-preserved examples with attractive surfaces are rare treasures, valued both for their beauty and their place in the story of America's coinage. The 1-cent coin of 1976 holds a special place in the Lincoln cent series, as it was struck during the bicentennial year of the United States, while the quarter, half-dollar, and dollar coins received special bicentennial reverse designs in 1976, the penny retained its familiar appearance with the Lincoln Memorial reverse that had been in use since 1959. Even though it did not undergo a design change, the 1976 Lincoln cent still represents an important piece of U.S. coinage history, as it circulated widely during America's 200th anniversary celebrations. The obverse of the coin features the portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner in 1909. Above Lincoln's head is the motto, "In God We Trust." To the left of Lincoln is the word "Liberty," while to the right is the date 1976. A mint mark appears just below the date for coins struck in Denver, carrying the letter D, and for those struck in San Francisco with an S mint mark on proof issues. Philadelphia mint coins of this year carry no mint mark. The reverse design, created by Frank Gasparo, depicts the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. The design is detailed enough that the seated statue of Lincoln inside the memorial can be seen with magnification. Above the memorial is the inscription, "United States of America," and directly below it is the motto, "E pluribus unum." At the bottom of the coin is the denomination, written as 1 cent. This design was standard for the Lincoln cent from 1959 until 2008. The composition of the 1976 cent was the same as in previous years, consisting of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. Each coin weighed 3.11 grams and measured 19 millimeters in diameter. Because of its high copper content, many 1976 cents hold intrinsic metal value higher than their face value, though these coins are still collected primarily for historical and numismatic reasons. Mintage figures for the 1976 Lincoln cent were extremely high. The Philadelphia Mint produced over 4.6 billion coins, while the Denver Mint struck more than 4.2 billion pieces. In addition, the San Francisco Mint struck proof coins with sharp details and mirror-like surfaces for collectors, numbering more than 4 million. Because of these massive mintages, the 1976 cent is common in circulation and remains easy to find today. For collectors, the 1976 Lincoln cent does not generally carry a premium in circulated grades due to its abundance. However, coins in uncirculated condition, especially those with full red luster, are more desirable. Proof coins from San Francisco are particularly sought after, especially in pristine grades with strong cameo contrast. Error coins from 1976 also attract collector interest, with examples such as off-center strikes, double strikes, die cracks, and clipped planchets, bringing premiums depending on their rarity and condition. Although the 1976 cent did not receive a special bicentennial reverse like other denominations, its presence during the nation's 200th anniversary adds to its historical appeal. Millions of Americans carried and used these coins during a year of celebration and national pride. As such, the 1976 1-cent coin represents both a continuation of the Lincoln Memorial design and a reminder of the era in which it circulated. The 1976 Lincoln cent remains a common but historically significant coin. It symbolizes everyday life in bicentennial America, a time when patriotism and tradition were central themes. While most examples are worth only face value, high-quality uncirculated and proof issues stand out as collectible treasures, preserving the legacy of the nation's coinage in an important year of celebration. The 1976 1-cent coin belongs to the Lincoln Memorial series that ran from 1959 to 2008. Although it did not receive a special bicentennial reverse like the quarter, half-dollar, and dollar coins, its circulation during the 200th anniversary of American independence makes it historically meaningful. For millions of Americans, the 1976 penny was part of everyday transactions during the celebrations of the bicentennial year, which included parades, commemorations, and patriotic displays across the country. The obverse design, created by Victor David Brenner in 1909, had already been in use for more than 6 decades. His portrait of Abraham Lincoln was the first realistic image of a U.S. president ever featured on coinage. The inscriptions remained unchanged in 1976, "In God We Trust," above Lincoln's head, "Liberty" to the left, and the date, 1976, to the right. Coins struck at the Denver Mint carry a small D mint mark, while proof issues from San Francisco show an S. Philadelphia issues of this year, as was traditional at the time, had no mint mark. The reverse design by Frank Gasparo portrays the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C., a national monument dedicated in 1922. Collectors often point out the fascinating detail that the seated statue of Lincoln is actually visible inside the memorial if viewed under magnification. Thus, Lincoln is depicted twice on the same coin, once on the obverse as a portrait, and again inside the memorial on the reverse. Around the design are the inscriptions "United States of America" at the top, "A pluribus unum" above the memorial, and 1 cent at the bottom. The coin's specifications in 1976 followed the traditional bronze alloy, 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. Each coin weighed 3.11 grams and had a diameter of 19 millimeters. This heavy copper composition gives these coins a distinct reddish hue when freshly minted. Over time, coins can tone to shades of red-brown or brown, and collectors classify them accordingly. Red examples are the most desirable, especially in mint state grades. Mintage levels for the 1976 cent were massive, reflecting the cent's role as the most commonly used denomination in circulation. The Philadelphia Mint produced over 4.6 billion pieces, while the Denver Mint struck over 4.2 billion. Proof coins from the San Francisco Mint added another 4 million to the total. Because of these enormous mintages, the 1976 cent is widely available today, and most circulated examples are worth only face value. For collectors, however, there are several areas of interest. High-grade uncirculated coins, especially those with a brilliant red finish and few contact marks, are significantly more valuable than ordinary examples. Proof coins from San Francisco are also collectible, particularly those with strong cameo or deep cameo contrast, where the frosted portrait of Lincoln stands out sharply against the mirrored fields. Error coins from 1976 add even more depth to the series. Off-center strikes, broad strikes, double strikes, and die cracks are all known from this year, and their value depends on rarity and visual appeal. In some cases, coins struck on wrong planchets, such as dimes or foreign blanks, are extremely scarce and can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Collectors specializing in Lincoln cent errors actively search for such pieces from 1976. The cultural backdrop of 1976 adds historical weight to this coin. While Americans were using 1976 pennies in daily life, they were also celebrating the bicentennial of independence with fireworks, festivals, and the release of specially designed coins on higher denominations. The penny may not have received a unique bicentennial reverse, but it was part of the coinage circulating during this milestone year, making it a tangible connection to that patriotic period. In summary, the 1976 1-cent coin represents both continuity and history. Its design remained unchanged, but its circulation during the bicentennial year gives it a unique historical association. While common in circulated grades, examples in pristine condition, proof coins with cameo contrast, and mint errors are sought after by collectors. This coin continues to remind us of both Abraham Lincoln's enduring legacy and the spirit of America's 200th anniversary celebrations. The 1-cent coin of 1977 belongs to the Lincoln Memorial Cent series, which was first introduced in 1959 and continued until 2008. This series carried on the tradition of honoring Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, while also showcasing an important American monument on the reverse. The 1977 cent, while common in circulation, carries both historical and numismatic value. The obverse of the coin features the classic portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner in 1909. This portrait had already become one of the most iconic images in American coinage. Above Lincoln's head is the motto, "In God We Trust." To the left of Lincoln is the word "Liberty," and to the right is the date 1977. Depending on where the coin was minted, it may also include a mint mark just below the date. Coins struck at the Denver Mint carry a D, while those produced at the San Francisco Mint for proof sets carry an S. Philadelphia Mint coins of this year do not show any mint mark. The reverse was designed by Frank Gasparo and features the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. The design is famous for including, in miniature detail, the seated statue of Abraham Lincoln visible inside the memorial if magnified. This makes the Lincoln cent one of the rare cases in U.S. coinage, where the same figure appears on both sides of the coin. Above the memorial is the inscription, United States of America, and just below it is the motto, E pluribus unum. At the bottom is the denomination 1 cent. The 1977 Lincoln cent was composed of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, the same bronze alloy that had been used since the early 1960s. Each coin weighed 3.11 grams and had a diameter of 19 millimeters. Its reddish color when freshly struck gradually toned to red-brown or brown over time, depending on circulation and storage. Collectors prize bright red uncirculated examples the most, as they are harder to find in perfect condition. Mintage numbers for the 1977 cent were very large, making the coin common in circulation. The Philadelphia Mint struck over 4.2 billion coins. The Denver Mint produced over 4.1 billion, and the San Francisco Mint issued more than 3 million proof coins. Because of these enormous mintages, the 1977 cent is readily available today, and circulated examples are usually only worth face value. However, coins in high mint state grades, especially those with full red luster and minimal marks, can carry added value for collectors. Proof coins from San Francisco are particularly collectible, especially when they show strong cameo contrast, with frosted design elements set against mirror-like fields. Error varieties from 1977 also exist and attract collector interest. Some examples include off-center strikes, die cracks, broad strikes, and doubled dies. These errors are far scarcer than standard strikes and can command significant premiums depending on their rarity and appearance. The 1977 Faber-Car Lincoln cent remains an important part of U.S. numismatic history. While not rare, it represents the continuing legacy of Abraham Lincoln's image on American coinage, as well as the enduring presence of the Lincoln Memorial design during the 1970s. For collectors, it serves as both a common piece of everyday coinage and a reminder of a period in American history when the Lincoln cent was a cornerstone of daily commerce. The 1 cent coin of 1977 belongs to the Lincoln Memorial Cent series, which ran from 1959 through 2008. During this time, billions of pennies were struck each year, making them one of the most widely used coins in American commerce. While the 1977 cent may seem ordinary at first glance, it carries with it the story of mid-20th century American coinage, when copper coins were still in everyday circulation and the Lincoln Memorial design was at the height of its use. On the obverse, the coin displays the enduring portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner in 1909 to honor the centennial of Lincoln's birth. By 1977, this portrait had already been on the cent for 68 years, making it one of the longest-running coin designs in U.S. history. The inscriptions remain the same as in earlier years. "In God we trust" across the top, "Liberty" to the left of Lincoln, and the date, 1977, to the right. Directly beneath the date is the mint mark, if present. Coins from Denver show a D, proof coins from San Francisco carry an S, while Philadelphia issues do not display any mint mark at all. The reverse, created by Frank Gasparo, features the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. Above the memorial is the inscription, "United States of America," and just below that is the motto, "E pluribus unum." At the bottom is the denomination 1 cent. The design is celebrated for including, in tiny detail, the seated statue of Abraham Lincoln inside the memorial, visible under magnification. This makes the 1977 cent unique in that Lincoln appears twice, once as the main portrait on the obverse, and again as the statue inside the memorial on the reverse. The composition of the 1977 cent was 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, the traditional bronze alloy used for most Lincoln cents up until 1982. Each coin weighed 3.11 grams and measured 19 millimeters in diameter. This copper-based composition gave the cent its distinct reddish appearance when newly struck. Over time, coins toned into shades of red, brown, and brown, depending on exposure to the elements. For collectors, the color classification, red, red-brown, or brown, is critical in determining the coin's value. Bright red uncirculated examples are the most sought after and command higher prices. Mintage for the 1977 cent was enormous. The Philadelphia Mint struck over 4.2 billion coins, while the Denver Mint produced more than 4.1 billion. Proof coins were made at the San Francisco Mint, with a total of more than 3.2 million struck for collectors. Because of these massive mintages, most 1977 cents remain common and easy to find in circulation today. Circulated examples generally hold no premium beyond face value, but high-grade mint state and proof examples are more collectible. Collectors often pursue 1977 cents in pristine mint state condition, certified by grading services such as PCGS or NGC. Coins graded MS 65 red and higher are far less common than average circulated pieces, and the value increases sharply with grade. Proof coins from San Francisco are especially collectible when they display strong cameo contrast, where the frosted design elements stand out against mirrored backgrounds. Deep cameo examples are the most desirable. Error coins from 1977 add an extra layer of interest. Examples of off-center strikes, die breaks, doubled dies, clipped planchets, and broad strikes are known from this year. While standard 1977 cents are extremely common, dramatic minting errors can be scarce and command strong premiums. Collectors specializing in Lincoln cent errors actively seek these unique pieces. The 1977 Lincoln cent also represents an important era in U.S. coinage history. In the late 1970s, inflation was rising, and the copper content of the cent was approaching a point where the metal was worth more than the coin's face value. This issue would eventually lead to the U.S. Mint's decision in 1982 to change the composition of the cent from copper to a copper-plated zinc core. Thus, the 1977 cent is part of the last era of solid bronze cents before the shift to cheaper materials. In summary, while the 1977 1-cent coin may be common in circulation, It holds strong numismatic interest. It represents the continuity of Lincoln's image on American coinage, the artistry of Frank Gasparo's Lincoln Memorial reverse, and the era of true copper coinage. Collectors value the coin in high-grade uncirculated and proof forms, as well as in unusual mint-error varieties. As a piece of everyday history, it connects us not only to Abraham Lincoln, but also to an important period in American economic and coinage history. The 1-cent coin of 1978 is part of the Lincoln Memorial Cent series, which ran from 1959 until 2008. By this time, the design had become one of the most familiar in U.S. coinage, seen and used daily by millions of Americans. Although the 1978 cent is a common coin, it represents an important piece of numismatic and historical continuity, linking the legacy of Abraham Lincoln with the nation's coinage system. On the obverse, the coin displays the portrait of Abraham Lincoln, originally designed by Victor David Brenner in 1909 to mark the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. The portrait had already been in use for nearly 70 years by 1978, making it one of the longest-running coin designs in American history. Above Lincoln's head is the motto, "In God We Trust." To the left of his profile is the word "Liberty," while to the right is the date 1978. Just beneath the date is the mint mark, if applicable. Coins struck at the Denver Mint carry a D, proof coins from San Francisco show an S, and Philadelphia coins of this year carry no mint mark. The reverse design by Frank Gasparo depicts the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. At the top of the coin is the inscription United States of America, and directly below that is the motto E Pluribus Unum. The denomination 1 cent appears at the bottom. One of the unique features of this design is the inclusion of the seated statue of Abraham Lincoln inside the memorial, which can be seen with magnification. This makes the Lincoln cent unusual because the same individual appears on both sides of the coin. The composition of the 1978 cent was 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, the traditional bronze alloy that had been used for decades. Each coin weighed 3.11 grams and measured 19 millimeters in diameter. The bright red surface of newly struck coins often faded to red-brown or brown over time as the coin circulated. Collectors carefully classify these color variations, with red examples being the most desirable in uncirculated condition. Mintage for the 1978 Lincoln cent was extremely high, ensuring that the coin remains common today. The Philadelphia Mint produced more than 5.5 billion pieces, while the Denver Mint struck over 4.3 billion. The San Francisco Mint issued more than 3.1 million proof coins for collectors. With a total mintage in the billions, most examples are easily found and hold no premium in circulated grades. For collectors, the most desirable pieces are uncirculated coins with full red luster and minimal contact marks. Certified examples graded MS65 red or higher are considered especially collectible. Proof coins from San Francisco are also sought after, particularly those with strong cameo or deep cameo contrast, where frosted designs stand out sharply against mirror-like fields. Error coins from 1978 add significant interest for specialists. Known errors include off-center strikes, die cracks, double dies, broad strikes, and clipped planchets. Such coins are far scarcer than normal issues and can command significant premiums depending on their rarity and appearance. Historically, the 1978 cent represents the last years of the traditional copper composition before the shift to copper-plated zinc in 1982. During the late 1970s, rising inflation and increasing metal prices were making the cost of producing copper cents approach or even exceed their face value. Although the change did not occur until a few years later, coins like the 1978 cent mark the closing chapter of America's bronze cent era. In summary, the 1978 1-cent coin may be common in circulation, but it carries strong historical and numismatic significance. It reflects the enduring popularity of Brenner's portrait of Lincoln, the detailed artistry of Gasparo's Lincoln Memorial design, and the last period of true copper coinage in America. While ordinary in circulation, high-grade uncirculated coins, proof issues, and mint errors make the 1978 cent an appealing collectible for those who value both history and coinage. The 1-cent coin of 1978 stands as part of the long-running Lincoln Memorial Cent series, which lasted from 1959 until 2008. By this point, the Lincoln cent had already been in circulation for nearly 7 decades, making it one of the most recognizable coins in American history. Even though the 1978 issue is common, it is tied to an important era when the U.S. Mint was still producing cents from traditional bronze before switching to a copper-plated zinc composition in the early 1980s. The obverse of the coin features the portrait of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, designed by Victor David Brenner in 1909. This design marked a turning point in U.S. coinage history, as it was the first time a real historical figure appeared on an American coin. In 1978, the design still carried Brenner's initials, VDB, placed discreetly at the base of Lincoln's bust. Surrounding Lincoln's portrait are inscriptions that reflect American values. "In God We Trust" at the top, "Liberty" to the left, and the date 1978 to the right. Coins struck in Denver bear the D mint mark, while proof coins from San Francisco carry an S. Philadelphia mint coins carry no mint mark. The reverse of the coin, created by Frank Gasparo, displays the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C., a design first introduced in 1959 to celebrate the 150th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. The memorial is shown in fine detail, including the small seated statue of Lincoln inside, visible under magnification. This detail makes the coin unique, as Lincoln appears on both sides of the coin, as a portrait on the obverse and as a statue on the reverse. At the top of the reverse is the inscription, "United States of America," while the motto, "E pluribus unum," appears directly above the memorial. The denomination 1 cent is placed at the bottom. The composition of the 1978 cent is 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, weighing 3.11 grams and measuring 19 millimeters in diameter. This traditional bronze alloy had been used for decades and gave the cent its distinctive reddish appearance when new. Over time, the bright red finish can fade to red-brown or completely brown, depending on storage and circulation. Collectors classify cents into 3 color designations: red, RD, red-brown, RB, and brown, BN. Red coins in pristine condition are the most valuable, as they represent the coin's original look. The mintage of the 1978 cent was extremely large, ensuring its availability in circulation. The Philadelphia Mint struck more than 5.5 billion coins, while the Denver Mint added another 4.3 billion. Proof coins were produced at the San Francisco Mint, with a total of about 3.1 million. Such huge mintages mean that circulated 1978 cents are common and usually worth only face value. However, high-grade examples, especially certified mint state coins with full red luster, are much harder to find and more desirable to collectors. Proof coins from San Francisco represent another important collectible category. These coins, specially made for collectors, feature mirror-like fields and frosted design elements. The most prized proof coins are those with strong cameo or deep cameo contrast, where the frosted images of Lincoln and the memorial stand out sharply against the reflective backgrounds. Proof coins in top condition, graded PR69 or PR70, are particularly sought after. Error coins from 1978 also attract collector attention. Examples include off-center strikes, double strikes, broad strikes, die cracks, die clashes, and clipped planchets. One of the most interesting varieties to look for is a doubled die obverse, where the inscriptions or date show doubling caused during the die making process. While major doubled dies are not common for 1978, any strong variety can be worth significantly more than a normal strike. From a historical perspective, the 1978 cent belongs to the last chapter of the classic bronze cents. In the late 1970s, rising copper prices meant that the metal value of the cent was approaching its face value. By 1982, the U.S. Mint would make a major change, switching to copper-plated zinc planchets to reduce costs. Thus, coins like the 1978 cent are part of the final years when pennies were still produced from nearly solid copper. This makes them important to collectors who value traditional coinage materials. In terms of market demand, circulated 1978 cents are extremely common, but uncirculated and proof examples in superb condition carry premiums. Mint state coins graded MS 65 red or higher are collectible, while top-graded examples above MS 67 can be worth much more due to their scarcity. Proof coins with deep cameo contrast are also highly desirable. Error coins can sell for several times the value of a normal cent, depending on rarity and appeal. In summary, the 1978 1-cent coin represents continuity, history, and transition. It continues the long-standing design of Abraham Lincoln and the Lincoln Memorial while also belonging to the last generation of bronze cents. Although billions were struck, high-grade uncirculated and proof coins, as well as error varieties, hold strong collector interest. More than just a common piece of currency, the 1978 cent reflects the artistry of American coin design and the closing era of traditional copper coinage. The 1-cent coin of 1981 is part of the Lincoln Memorial Cent series, which was struck from 1959 to 2008. By this time, the Lincoln cent had already become the most widely recognized and heavily used coin in the United States. The 1981 cent is especially interesting because it represents the last full year when the coin was struck in the traditional bronze alloy before the United States Mint transitioned to a copper-plated zinc composition in 1982. On the obverse, the coin carries the famous portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner in 1909. Above Lincoln's head is the motto, "In God We Trust." To the left of his profile is the word "Liberty," and to the right is the date 1981. A mint mark may also appear beneath the date, showing the mint of origin. Coins struck in Denver carry a D, while proof issues from San Francisco carry an S. Coins struck at the Philadelphia Mint have no mint mark. The reverse of the coin was designed by Frank Gasparo and features the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. The detail of the memorial includes the small seated statue of Abraham Lincoln inside, visible under magnification. Around the image are the inscriptions United States of America across the top, a pluribus unum above the memorial, and 1 cent at the bottom. This design had been in use since 1959 and remained on the cent until 2008. The composition of the 1981 cent was 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, weighing 3.11 grams with a diameter of 19 millimeters. This bronze alloy had been used for decades, giving the cent its distinctive reddish appearance when new. Over time, coins tone into shades of red-brown and brown. Collectors carefully classify cents into 3 color categories: red, red-brown, and brown, with bright red coins being the most desirable in uncirculated condition. Mintage figures for the 1981 cent were extremely high, reflecting its importance in commerce. The Philadelphia Mint produced more than 3.1 billion coins, while the Denver Mint struck more than 5.3 billion. The San Francisco Mint made over 4 million proof coins for collectors. With such massive production numbers, the 1981 cent is still very common today, and circulated examples are generally only worth face value. For collectors, the appeal lies in uncirculated and proof coins. Mint state coins with full red luster are harder to find and command higher premiums, especially in grades MS65 and above. Proof coins from San Francisco are especially collectible when they display strong cameo or deep cameo contrast with frosted devices set against mirrored fields. Error coins from 1981 also attract attention from collectors. Known errors include off-center strikes, double strikes, die cracks, clipped planchets, and broad strikes. Certain double die varieties are especially sought after as they show clear doubling in the inscriptions or date. These errors are much scarcer than normal strikes and can sell for significantly more. The 1981 cent carries additional importance because it represents the final full year of the traditional copper-based composition. In 1982, the Mint introduced a lighter coin with a copper-plated zinc core to reduce production costs. This makes the 1981 cent one of the last coins produced entirely in bronze, a material that had defined the Lincoln cent for generations. In summary, the 1981 1-cent coin may appear common, but it holds strong historical and numismatic significance. It represents the enduring image of Abraham Lincoln, the artistry of the Lincoln Memorial design, and the last period of bronze coinage in America. For collectors, pristine, uncirculated examples, proof issues with cameo contrast, and mint errors remain the most desirable. Though billions were struck, the 1981 cent stands out as a symbolic transition point between the classic copper era and the modern composition of U.S. coinage. The 1981 1-cent coin belongs to the Lincoln Memorial Cent series, which ran from 1959 until 2008. By this point, the Lincoln cent had been in circulation for over 70 years, making it one of the most iconic and longest-running coins in American history. The 1981 issue is especially significant because it marks the final full year of bronze cents before the U.S. Mint shifted to a new copper-plated zinc composition in 1982. On the obverse, the coin features the classic bust of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, originally designed by Victor David Brenner in 1909. This design was revolutionary at the time, as it was the first American coin to depict an actual person rather than a symbolic figure. By 1981, Brenner's portrait of Lincoln had already become deeply rooted in American culture. The inscriptions on the obverse include, "In God We Trust" above Lincoln's head, "Liberty" to the left, and the date 1981 to the right. Coins minted in Denver display a D mint mark, and those struck at San Francisco carry an S. Coins struck in Philadelphia have no mint mark. The reverse design was created by Frank Gasparo and features the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C., introduced in 1959 to honor the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. A fascinating detail is that Lincoln himself is visible in miniature form, seated inside the memorial, making the 1981 cent one of the few U.S. coins to depict the same figure on both sides. Surrounding inscriptions include "United States of America" across the top, "A pluribus unum" above the memorial, and 1 cent at the bottom. In terms of composition, the 1981 cent is struck in 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, giving it a weight of 3.11 grams and a diameter of 19 millimeters. This traditional bronze alloy had been used for most of the cent's history and gave the coin its warm reddish appearance when new. Over time, however, circulation causes toning, leading coins to appear red-brown or fully brown. collectors classify coins into three categories: red, RD, red-brown, RB, and brown, BN. Fully red examples, showing original mint brilliance, are the rarest and most desirable for collectors. The mintage for the 1981 cent was extraordinarily high, reflecting America's heavy reliance on the penny in daily commerce. The Philadelphia Mint struck over 3.1 billion coins, while the Denver Mint struck over 5.3 billion. The San Francisco Mint produced around 4 million proof coins for collectors. With a total output of nearly 9 billion business strike coins, the 1981 cent is one of the most common Lincoln Memorial cents ever issued. Because of this massive production, circulated 1981 cents generally hold only face value. However, uncirculated examples, especially those graded MS 65 and higher, are far scarcer and more desirable. Collectors especially value coins with full red luster and sharp details. Coins graded MS 67 red or above are exceptionally rare and can command strong premiums in the numismatic market. Proof coins from San Francisco are another important category. These were struck with polished dies and special planchets to achieve mirror-like surfaces. Many of these proofs also display cameo or deep cameo contrast, where the frosted portrait and memorial stand out sharply against mirrored fields. Such coins, when graded PR69 or PR70 deep cameo, are the most valuable examples from 1981. Error coins and varieties from 1981 are also of great interest. Known minting errors include off-center strikes, double strikes, broad strikes, die cracks, and clipped planchets. Collectors also look for doubled die varieties, where doubling can be seen in the inscriptions or the date. While no extremely famous doubled dies are widely known for 1981, minor varieties still attract interest. Historically, the 1981 1 cent holds a unique position. It was the last full year of traditional bronze cents, as the rising cost of copper was pushing the mint to seek cheaper alternatives. By 1982, the mint shifted to a lighter coin made of copper-plated zinc, which weighed only 2.5 grams. Because of this transition, collectors often see 1981 cents as part of the closing chapter of classic U.S. bronze coinage. For the collector's market today, the 1981 cent remains common in circulated grades, but gains value in high mint state or proof condition. Error coins and coins with exceptional eye appeal, such as rainbow-toned examples, are especially collectible. While it may seem ordinary due to its enormous mintage, the 1981 cent is a symbolic piece representing the end of an era in American coinage. In summary, the 1981 1 cent coin combines history, artistry, and numismatic significance. Its obverse preserves Victor David Brenner's timeless portrait of Abraham Lincoln, while its reverse showcases Frank Gasparo's Lincoln Memorial design. With billions struck, it remains one of the most common coins of its time, yet high-grade examples, proof issues, and error coins stand out as important collector's items. Most importantly, it serves as a reminder of the final years of traditional bronze coinage before the major compositional change of 1982. The 1 cent coin of 1982 is one of the most fascinating issues in the history of the Lincoln cent series because it represents a major transition in the composition of the coin. Until 1981, cents were struck in a bronze alloy consisting of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. However, the rising cost of copper made it too expensive for the U.S. Mint to continue producing pennies with this metal. By 1982, the mint introduced a new composition of copper-plated zinc consisting of 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper with a much lighter weight of 2.5 grams compared to the 3.11 grams of the earlier bronze coins. The obverse of the coin features the portrait of Abraham Lincoln designed by Victor David Brenner in 1909. This design had already been in use for more than 70 years by 1982, and it remains one of the most iconic designs in U.S. coinage. Above Lincoln's head is the motto, "In God We Trust." To the left is the word "Liberty," and to the right is the date 1982, along with a mint mark, if applicable. Coins struck in Denver carry the D-mint mark, while those from Philadelphia have no mint mark. Proof coins were produced at the San Francisco Mint with an S mint mark. The reverse was designed by Frank Gasparo and features the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. A unique detail is that the statue of Lincoln can be seen inside the memorial when magnified, making the coin one of the rare cases in U.S. coinage history where the same person appears on both the obverse and reverse. The inscriptions include United States of America at the top, E pluribus unum above the memorial, and 1 cent at the bottom. What makes the 1982 cent especially interesting to collectors is the fact that it was produced in both bronze and copper-plated zinc. As a result, there are 7 different regular issues for 1982 cents due to variations in composition, mint marks, and the size of the date. The U.S. Mint changed the style of the numerals in the date during the year, creating 2 different types, the large date and the small date varieties. When combined with the 2 different compositions and the Denver Mint issues, there are multiple collectible types: 1982, large date copper, Philadelphia, no mint mark; 1982, small date copper, Philadelphia, no mint mark; 1982, large date zinc, Philadelphia, no mint mark; 1982, small date zinc, Philadelphia, no mint mark; 1982, D large date copper, 1982, D large date zinc, 1982, D small date zinc. In addition to these, proof coins were struck at San Francisco, also in copper composition. A very famous and rare error coin exists from 1982, the 1982 D small date copper cent. It was not supposed to exist, but a few were struck before the transition to zinc planchets was completed. This variety is considered one of the great modern rarities, with only a limited number known to collectors today. The weight of the coin is the easiest way to tell whether a 1982 cent is copper or zinc. Copper cents weigh 3.11 grams, while zinc cents weigh 2.5 grams. Collectors often weigh their 1982 cents to determine the composition, since both look nearly identical to the naked eye. In terms of mintages, billions of cents were struck in 1982 across both compositions. The Philadelphia and Denver mints each produced hundreds of millions of coins, while San Francisco produced proof issues for collectors. Because of these huge mintages, most 1982 cents are still common today, though the rare varieties and high-grade examples can be valuable. For collectors, the 1982 cent series offers a wide range of challenges. Finding well-preserved, fully read examples in mint state is not always easy, since copper coins are prone to spotting and toning. Proof coins with deep cameo contrast are especially prized, and error coins, such as doubled dies, off-center strikes, and the legendary 1982 D small date copper cent are highly sought after. In summary, the 1982 1-cent coin is one of the most historically significant modern U.S. coins. It represents the year of transition from traditional bronze to copper-plated zinc, resulting in multiple varieties that continue to challenge and fascinate collectors. While common in circulation, the coin's different types, proofs, and rare errors make it a cornerstone of modern Lincoln cent collecting. The 1982 1-cent coin is remembered as a milestone in American numismatics because it was the year of a historic transition in composition. Until 1981, all Lincoln cents were made of a bronze alloy, 95% copper, 5% tin and zinc, and weighed 3.11 grams. But in 1982, the rising price of copper meant that each penny was worth nearly its face value in metal content, creating a cost problem for the U.S. Mint. To solve this, the Mint introduced a new copper-plated zinc composition, a zinc core with a thin layer of copper, weighing only 2.5 grams. This change lowered costs but also created a situation where two different compositions were struck in the same year. That makes 1982 one of the most complex years for Lincoln cent collectors. The obverse features Abraham Lincoln's profile, designed by Victor David Brenner in 1909. The inscriptions are unchanged. "In God We Trust" above, "Liberty" to the left, and the date 1982 to the right. Beneath the date, the mint mark identifies the production facility: D for Denver, no mark for Philadelphia, and S for San Francisco proofs. The reverse, designed by Frank Gasparo, shows the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C., complete with the seated statue of Lincoln visible between the central columns under magnification. The inscriptions include "United States of America" across the top, "E pluribus unum" above the memorial, and the denomination 1 cent at the bottom. What makes the 1982 cent so fascinating is that there are 7 regular business strike varieties, plus proofs. These exist because of 2 factors: the switch from copper to zinc, composition, the change in numeral style for the date, known as large date and small date. The collectible varieties are 1982 large date copper, Philadelphia, no mint mark; 1982 small date copper, Philadelphia; 1982 large date zinc, Philadelphia; 1982 small date zinc, Philadelphia; 1982 D large date copper, 1982 D large date zinc, 1982 D small date zinc. Additionally, the San Francisco Mint struck proof cents in copper with the S mint mark. The most famous rarity is the 1982 D small date copper. Officially, no such coin should exist, because Denver was already using zinc planchets when the small date dies were paired. But a few slipped through, and today, very few examples are known. This makes it one of the great modern Lincoln cent rarities, with individual coins worth thousands of dollars depending on grade. Collectors can tell the difference between copper and zinc 1982 cents by weighing them. Copper cents weigh 3.11 grams. Zinc cents weigh 2.5 grams. Because both types look almost identical, a precision scale is often the only reliable method of distinguishing them. Over time, zinc cents also tend to corrode and develop zinc rot, while copper cents age more evenly with attractive toning. Mintages for 1982 were extremely high, since the penny was heavily used in commerce. Philadelphia and Denver each struck hundreds of millions of coins, with billions combined across all varieties. The San Francisco Mint produced several million proof cents. While ordinary business strikes are very common in circulation, the real challenge for collectors lies in finding high-grade examples with full red color, or the rare varieties. Like other Lincoln cents, 1982 issues are graded by color and condition. Brown, BN, fully circulated or aged copper look. Red-brown, RB, a mix of red luster and brown toning. Red, RD, full original mint red, the most valuable in higher grades. Circulated 1982 cents are generally worth face value, but uncirculated MS65 RD or higher coins are scarcer and can command solid premiums. Proof coins in grades PR69 or PR70, deep cameo, are especially collectible. The rare 1982 D small date copper, when authenticated and certified, is the most valuable of all and can sell for thousands. Collectors also search for 1982 error cents. Common errors include off-center strikes, double strikes, die cracks, clipped planchets, and die breaks. Because 1982 was a transition year, planchet mix-ups are also a possibility, adding extra appeal to error collectors. The 1982 cent is more than just another Lincoln Memorial coin. It symbolizes the end of an era. For over 70 years, Americans had carried solid bronze cents. But starting in 1982, nearly all pennies were made of copper-plated zinc, a change that continues today. This makes the 1982 cent not only interesting to collectors, but also historically significant as a marker of changing times in U.S. coinage. The 1982 1-cent coin is one of the most complex and intriguing coins in modern U.S. history, with 2 compositions, 2 date styles, multiple mint marks, proofs, and a famous rare variety. It offers collectors a wide range of challenges. While billions were struck, high-grade examples, proof coins with strong cameo contrast, and rare varieties such as the 1982D small date copper stand out as truly valuable treasures. More than just a penny, it represents the turning point between America's traditional bronze coinage and the modern zinc era,